It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
We made it to the weekend. What's happening, everybody? Hello, hello, hey. It is time for the Geno Jones Show. Yes, it's not a Friday. Well, okay, the calendar might say Friday, but I like to say Friday, like yay, it's Friday edition of the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday. Yes, I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast in Los Angeles, where, like I told you, the Los Angeles Lakers, the 2021-2022 NBA champions, you heard it here first. I want to welcome home Russell Westbrook back out in Los Angeles with my LA Lakers, LeBron and AD. It's about to pop off, and we are not done. I just want to let you know. Or if you are in Tokyo, it is 7:30, actually 7:35 right now. Yes. A little CP time, but I'm glad to be here with you. I'm glad that you're stuck around, you waited on me, or if you're just joining me, welcome to the party. It's going down. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Geno Jones channel here on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. You can copy and paste the link. Share the episodes on all of your social media platforms. And support a black businessman, support a small black businessman, an entrepreneur. Love to have you as a sponsor. Love to have you as an advertiser. And if you're looking for the ultimate pitch man to build your brand, your business, your goods, your services, your products, you need to get them moved. You need to get some sales. I'm the king, not the king, not the king, the king of pitchmen. Geno Jones Show at Gmail. That's the email address. Let's jump right into it. So on Friday, we like to do a week in review show. Yesterday, I had Dr. Damon Arnold out of Chicago, one of the top public health and infectious disease doctors, a black doctor who was a military veteran. He was in the Iraq War. As a matter of fact, he was like a flight surgeon. He flew on the Black Hawk helicopters. So the brothers got the receipts. So here's the deal. According to the Center for Disease Control, 50% of Americans are fully vaccinated. We're getting there. We need to be around 80%. However, only 23% of black Americans, let me say that again, 50% of Americans are fully vaccinated. Only 23% of black Americans are vaccinated. So news came out today that this Delta variant of COVID-19, which we learned yesterday from Dr. Damon Arnold. So there are like 15 different types of the Delta variant of COVID-19. Go back and watch yesterday's episode. You'll see my man, Dr. Arnold. So if there are 15 different types of this new variant, Delta variant of COVID-19. It's way more infectious than the flu, than the cold. It's more contagious than Ebola. If you've ever had chicken pox, unfortunately, I came down with chicken pox when I was in my late 20s as a grown-ass man. Chicken pox are highly contagious. This new form of COVID-19 is as contagious as the chicken pox. So I'm not telling that, look, I don't want to bum you out, but listen, it's Friday, it's the weekend. And people are going to be going out. Some people are going out in crowds. You still got folks who don't want to wear masks. They don't want to get vaccinated. This is nothing to play with, okay? This is not your grandfather's COVID-19. No, this is not the COVID-19 from March of 2020. This is the new, improved, highly contagious. It's two words coming out at one time. New and improved, highly contagious, and definitely more dangerous and deadly. So please, I tell you because I love you. Even if I don't know you, I love you as a human. Even if I don't like your politics, your ideology, the way you smell, or you root for the wrong team. Now, seriously, all right? And we all have a responsibility So I want to hear about all my freedoms. This is America and I'm free. Yeah. Your freedom stops where your freedom puts my life in jeopardy. You are not free to infect me or some poor innocent child who can't get vaccinated because they're on chemo because they have some type of childhood cancer or some other disease, or an elderly person that has a disease, diabetes, or maybe they're on dialysis. Maybe they had an organ transplant. They could be a cancer survivor, currently on chemotherapy, or an immunosuppressive disease, something like maybe lupus or MS. So, once again, with freedoms come responsibility. Okay? Yeah, you're free to get in your car and drive, but you're not free to run a red light, and you're not free to run your car into some innocent person sitting at a light and run your car into them and kill them without consequences. And come on, brothers and sisters, Black America, I'm going to just say this one more time. I said this last night. All right? For every one white American that is dying from COVID-19, 3 Black folks. For every one white American that's dying of COVID, 3 Black people in America are dying of COVID. There's no excuse that only 23% of all Black Americans, when we are dying at 3 times the rate that white Americans are. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna piss some people off, but it's okay, because there are a lot of folks in a lot of different positions. There's some prominent entertainers, and I should call names, but I'm not gonna do that because it's Friday. It's a Friday, so I want to keep it yay. There's some other prominent people, and there are some pastors. There are members of the Black leaders in certain Black churches. You know who you are. That is telling people not to get vaccinated. Now, why would you tell people, well, God will take care of you? Guess what? God did take care of you. You know how? Because God blessed these people, like the Black woman, Dr. Kizzy Corbett, and gave her the knowledge and the intelligence and the talent and the skill to develop the Moderna vaccine. So, yeah, he did bless you by making sure that we could get a vaccine in record time. Not because they rushed it, but because this technology, like Dr. Arnold said yesterday, has been around for almost 30 years. But the major pharmaceutical drug companies couldn't figure out a way to make money off of it. So, when money didn't matter, when the world, $10 billion, all the different governments, when COVID-19 really hit and got out of control, the governments all around the world, all these different countries was like, whoa, wait a minute. Hey, listen, y'all need to go ahead and manufacture as many vials of this drug. We need it fast. Don't worry about the money. So $10 billion with a B, $10 billion was spent by governments all over the world, and a lot of it here, a lot of it American dollars. So $10 billion went to the pharmaceutical companies to speed up the production and to speed up the technology so we could have vaccines. And you got people in countries that would die, that are dying, would do anything to be able to pay whatever price, and we can get the vaccine free. And don't tell me about, yes, the government, I understand Miss Henrietta Lacks, God rest her soul, a Black woman who died of, I believe, cervical cancer. And they used her cells to come up with the cure of many diseases, and they did it, and her family didn't even know it. I got it. Absolutely. And let's talk about the Tuskegee experiment. Well, they gave the Black folks syphilis down at the Tuskegee Institute. No, Tuskegee Institute. No, the government did not give Black people syphilis. The government did not give Black men who came into the study who were already infected with syphilis. The federal government did not give Black men penicillin and medicine to treat it. So they did not give them syphilis. They did not give them the medicine to treat the syphilis. That's what happened. So you had a situation where the government denied Black men for almost 4 decades life-saving treatment. Now the government is giving you a drug, a life-saving drug that's proven 99.6% of every American that has died of COVID recently is unvaccinated. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. You can find it out for yourself. You can do the math. 99.6% of everybody that has died within the last couple months of COVID-19, and the majority of those people had this new Delta variant, 99.6% of those people that have died were unvaccinated. And now you can get a vaccine that can save your life, that's proven 99.6% to save your life, somewhere around 94 or 95% proven to keep you out of a hospital and off of a ventilator. And the government will give you this drug for free and we won't get it. I hope you get it. Because COVID don't care. This COVID don't care. Shout out to Simone Biles. It's been an incredible week. She's been dealing with some just mental challenges. She had to step back from competing. She's still over in Tokyo supporting her teammates. She had to step back. It's been a very traumatic time. Remember that these are the 2020 Olympic Games in 2021. So all the athletes were supposed to compete last year. She puts it off. She started this year. She was just off. So the bottom line, if you haven't been following the story, Simone just earlier this week, she was she had just started competing, and she was doing one of the exercises where she's like 12, 15 feet in the air, and she kind of lost her sense of what they call it spatial awareness. She's like, I'm up in the middle of the air, and okay, where am I at exactly? I don't know how I'm coming down. People don't know how deadly that is. It's not like basketball. It's not even like football. It's not even like golf or tennis. When you are in midair, flipping at that speed, 12, 15 feet in the air, and if you don't know exactly what you're doing, you can come down, you can paralyze yourself, you can break your neck, you can kill yourself. It's dangerous. That's probably one of the most dangerous sports. And we never thought about it because gymnasts like Simone Biles make it look so easy. Like we could just go out in the backyard and do it. No, you can't go out in the backyard and do what she does. So she makes it look easy, and then people talk about how soft she is. Now those same people, so I posed a question. Just imagine if when you were a kid, a young woman, a teenager, like Simone Biles was, and you're competing for your country. You want to make your country proud, and you want to make the U.S. women's gymnastic team proud. But your team doctor, who you trust, who your coaches trust, who your country trust, that same doctor is sexually molesting you and virtually all of your teammates, and you never talk about it. So you suppress that. You feel you got to suppress that. You don't want to make your teammate, you don't want to make the team look bad. You don't want to make your country look bad. You don't want to compete for this gold medal. And since nobody else is saying anything because they are afraid, this animal, this predator is abusing your trust and continuing to sexually molest you. And your team coaches are sending you back to this molester, and nobody's doing anything about it. And in spite of that, you have to compete and represent your country and suffer in silence and then do it and then become the greatest of all time. And you got to suppress that pain and trauma. Solved? Really? How many of you all could do that and go through that and then come out and still compete at the highest level and be the best version of yourself? Not just the best version of yourself, the best version of anybody's self when it comes to gymnastics. So shout out to Simone Biles. Speaking of one bad black woman, ladies and gentlemen, my guess, it is time. We're going to have some fun as we always do. Get ready. Get your a former athlete, a guy used to, speaking of athletes, Terrell Owens used to play in the NFL, one of the greatest receivers of all time. He said, time to pop your popcorn, get your popcorn, because it is showtime for real. Showtime part 2. Ladies and gentlemen, one of my weekly contributors, she is my contributor on all things about life. Sports, social, political commentary, entertainment, you name it. If folks are talking about it in the barbershop or the beauty salons, the hair salons, then we talk about it and kick it and have a little fun. Bring it to the camera. Ladies and gentlemen, there she is. Miss Keila Carson got her black woman or black girl magic?
Black girl magic.
Black girl magic. There you go. The epitome. That's the epitome. There you go. If you look at, you got the dictionary. Well, now you don't have to get the big physical dictionary. I guess you can do it online. You can Google it, and you look up black woman magic, black girl magic. You'll see her picture right there. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's my girl power for all women / black girl magic kind of day, kind of week, kind of season.
Yes.
And so when we were thinking about today's show, it just hit me like that I'm going to put on my Black Girl Magic shirt because this is our time. And it's not just about the successes that we've had, but it's about the healing, as you just mentioned, with Simone and another woman of color, which we'll talk about, Naomi Osaka.
Right, Naomi Osaka, yes.
Yeah, with the depression. So it's all of that. We talked a few weeks ago about, treating our vajayjays and getting healthy. I mean, this is our time that we're publicly saying, not only are we great, but we have issues too. And that's okay. And we got to deal with those issues. So I am very proud of Simone. I know a lot of people have given her the blues this week, and I mean the low down dirty.
dirty low down blues. Really?
I mean,
right. I can hear B.B. King, God rest his soul up in heaven, playing the guitar.
I mean, they have given her the blues for actually doing what is responsible. I mean, to me, Geno.
Yes.
I mean, at sometimes you just have to, I hate to reference a country song, but let's do it.
Please.
Kenny Rogers had that song. He said, you got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em.
Sing that song, girl.
Know when to walk away, know when to run.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that's true. And Key, let me just jump in right there. And that's such an important point. Listen, folks, first of all, that was the most unselfish thing Simone Biles could do, all right? Because the state that she was in, she would hurt her team. Yes. These young women, they got a silver medal. So they said, well, they lost the gold, but they won. They won the silver medal. And so, Keila, this happened in real time. Here it is. You are competing for a gold medal in real time. And I could imagine this had to freak Simone out because she'd been struggling for a while, and people noticed some things about some of her performances that was off. It's like she stumbled a couple times. She never did that, but it was clear she tried to fight through that. And in that moment when she was, I think it was the vault or whatever it was, I'm talking about 12, 15 feet in the air. And she said, they call it the twisties, but she said she didn't really realize or couldn't get a handle on where she was. 15 feet in the air, she did the right thing. Not only to allow one of her teammates, because at that moment, she wasn't the greatest in the world. She wasn't the greatest on her team. She would harm her team, but she stayed out there, Keila, and she cheered those young ladies on, and she was coaching them. She turned into a coach and said, listen, because they were crying and just hysterical. She said, calm down. You all got it. We've trained for this. You have trained for this. I'm paraphrasing. It's your moment. Go do it. And she stayed out there and she was cheering for him. And in real time, they had to change up their order and everything. And they couldn't, it's not like they could practice for this. They couldn't practice for this because they didn't foresee that happening. And they still won a silver medal. So.
Right. When they could have walked away with nothing.
Right.
Depending on Biles' performance, had it been really bad,
right,
they could have ended up without a medal, and she could have ended up hurting herself, possibly permanently.
Yes.
For the rest of her career.
Yes.
And even though, maybe her unprofessional career, as an Olympiad, right, you're supposed to be considered an amateur, right? But she wouldn't have been able to do anything beyond that had she hurt herself severely. And to go to your point about that spatial,
awareness,
disorientation,
being disoriented in midair, 15 feet.
Right. That's if anybody has ever had vertigo.
Ooh. And my mother, who's watching you, I know she's waving at you, your number one fan. My mother has suffered from vertigo 3 times, and she said it's one of the scariest things. But this is a kid, you know how you play around and you be spinning around like a top, and then all of a sudden you're dizzy and we're like, whoa, it feels like the ground is moving. But she's in midair, so I can imagine how scary that's gotta be.
Let me tell you. So okay, so here comes Professor Carson.
Come on, Professor.
So with vertigo, people don't understand. They just hear that and go, okay, you get dizzy. No. God is so awesome that in our inner ear, because that's where the disorientation can take place with vertigo. In your inner ear, there's just a smidget bit of liquid, right? And that whole mechanism helps us to orientate ourselves physically on Earth. When vertigo happens or that inner ear is thrown off, what you do is you actually get a sense of what's really happening in the world, which means the Earth is spinning rapidly. With vertigo, you become aware of that. So it's almost like somebody has, that ride at the carnivals or at the amusement park that used to push you up against the wall. Yes. So you can feel and sense the Earth's movement. Yes. Now you talk about a freak out. That will freak. I mean, you just want to lay down and pray that it stops, and you want to close your eyes so that you can't, as best you can, sense anything. You don't want to look at anything because it throws everything off. But that is what it is like. From Professor Carson.
And you're right. To add to that, Professor, your intern, your resident will tell people. Now, those who've had vertigo understand that you have in that inner ear area, we have crystals, which I had no idea about these crystals until my mother told me about it. She's like, there are crystals in my ear, and when all that gets thrown off, like you said.
That's right. That's why you have some people who are okay with spinning or not, and some people who are okay with going up, down or not.
Good point.
That's all that inner ear. It keeps us balanced and it keeps us oriented to what the Earth is doing, because you don't realize right now, even though you look out your window and everything looks still, you have no idea how fast we are actually spinning.
Right. And
we are rotating. This planet is rotating at a rate that you cannot even fathom.
And Key, wait a minute, guys. How do you think we get night and day? How do you think we go from Monday to Friday?
To Friday.
Yes. The Earth is spinning. That's how we get from 2020 to 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't feel it.
Right.
But people like Dr. Carson said, people who have vertigo, unfortunately, they feel
and so imagine Simone taking that sensibility of travel and speed and trajectory, right? Because that's what you do when you're flipping. You're kind of own version of what the earth is doing, right?
Yes.
And so you're countering that, and then you lose what's in, honey. Now you really got a problem.
Oh.
It's one thing if you're just standing still and vertigo hits. It's another thing if you lose your sense of what's going on and you're traveling in it. You're up in the air, and now all of a sudden, you don't know what's happening. Planes have that problem where if they spin up, flip over and whatnot, the pilot can get disoriented and not know if they're looking at the sky or the ground.
Exactly.
They have to have instruments to tell them that, because they could be flying along thinking they're doing, and they could be totally upside
down.
Nosedive, right.
Wind up flying to a mountain or anything. So, no.
So people, when they carelessly spew their rhetoric, I'm getting ready for courses soon, so I'm going into my Keela speak for college students. But when you're spewing that kind of rhetoric carelessly, you're not taking into account all of the facts. And for the Geno Jones, I'll say, just shut up because you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
When is the last time that you jumped 20 feet, almost 20 feet in the air, flipping back and forth?
When was the last time you could raise your feet 2 inches off the damn ground?
That part.
When was the last time you seen your feet?
Geno, it's too early to drop the mic. It's too early. Because, baby, you got a point with that. When is the last time you got your big butt up and even walked down the block?
Please. Too lazy to get up and go get some more food. You got your trays, you got your little freezer, refrigerator like you have at a college dorm.
Couch.
Right? Come on. Man, don't get me started. When's the last time you saw your feet?
So give her space. And again, we both have stated that we are very proud of her for looking out for the team, because that's what teams do. You look out for each other, and you sometimes have to take a personal L, the L, or a loss or a sacrifice for the good of the team. And so what she did, and people won't give her the credit because they'll, want to go on social media or whatever and just run their mouth, but they won't give her the credit for maybe making sure that the team actually placed. And there is no shame in coming home with a silver medal when you are competing against all of these different countries, all of this talent from around the world. There is no shame in that, to come in with a silver medal. I say kudos to the team, kudos to Simone, and the movie about Simone Biles' life, Courage to Soar. That's going to be on Lifetime tonight, following another baddie, Gabby Douglas.
Okay.
From the 2012 team.
Right.
She was a part of the group of 5 young ladies. I think they called them the Fierce 5.
Yes.
Yeah. And so Gabby's movie is coming on at 10. Simone's movie is coming on at 8. So we got the baddies, Black Girl Magic. I thank Lifetime for, having these kinds of movies. And then on HBO Max, I wanted to mention Naomi Osaka, her documentary, another one who pulled out of the French Open because she said she's suffering depression. I mean, we have always had these issues, but what we were told back in the day especially as African American women, is my mama used to have a quote, and I'm sure my mama didn't make up this quote. I'm sure this is something that's been said. We have to postpone this nervous breakdown to later. We got stuff to do. So we learned carelessly, but it was all we had, to work through our pain, to work through our frustrations, to work through any obstacles that we had. We didn't have time for mental health. It is not until recent years that Black people have sought therapy. So for Naomi Osaka, and for anybody who says, Keela, well, she's Japanese, listen, her father is Black.
Right. Haitian
Okay.
descent, grew up in New York. She was raised by her grandmother, her Haitian grandmother, in New York. And it's no
Her
shade
mother,
on
I
her.
believe, is Japanese.
Yeah, she is. And let me
And
say this,
so-
Keith, since you jumped in real quick, because y'all real funny. Even in Japan, they on some that nationalist BS because, when she was competing and when she was winning, the nation of Japan loved her. When she was lighting, she had that torch and she was lighting the cauldron. Mm-hmm. But when she lost, then all of a sudden she wasn't really Japanese.
Right, she was the Black step-cousin.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so we could have that conversation, but I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. But yes.
And that's what I'm saying. Because I wanted to spend a little time as I'm threading these stories together, because I got my Black Girl Magic shirt on, right? Yeah. This is what I'm talking about, these athletes and these famous Black women. Listen, you have to take hold of yourself and think about, how hard was it for you to do the hardest thing you ever did, right? So maybe it was finishing college, or maybe it was finishing high school because of your family dynamics. Maybe imagine that journey, the difficulty. And now times a gajillion, because now you got to be the best on your block, the best in your state, the best in your country, the best in the world. The pressure is real. You're talking about people who have to fight their bodies to get their bodies up in the morning at 4 or 5 a.m. before they even go to school. They got to do that up until they're adults, and then they got to train like they've never trained before. So just the physical torture of their bodies, and then the mental. And now we're a Black person. Now we're Black and Japanese. What the heck is that?
And a woman.
Tiger Wood.
Right. And a woman. Because still the most disrespected, right, devalued, unappreciated, unprotected person on the planet. I've said it on this show. Yes. I said it 100 times, and I'll say it again. Is a Black woman. That's a fact. Now you can get mad if you want to.
And remember, Geno, what they did to Gabby Douglas when she got gold in 2012, and not other people, but our people. And I hate to admit it, they talked about her hair.
Oh yeah.
You remember? And it was like,
really, y'all? That's what we're doing. And she was a teenager. It's like,
yes,
really?
A little girl.
Here she is. At that time, she was the best gymnast in the world, a gold medalist. Right. And y'all talking about
little bitty girl.
She should have went and got her hair. Why the hell was she? First of all, why would she put them chemicals in her hair that was destroying her hair and probably really destroying her body? Right. And she didn't know that. And then two, if she's flipping and training and working out 6, 7, 8 hours a day, she's sweating. Why the hell would she waste money on trying to maintain some perm or whatever?
Some perm. If she had the love that she should have had and been given without judgment the freedom to just be who she is, maybe she would have had locks like me, and she could pull them locks up in a ponytail and be fine as wine all day long. But we all know Black hair, you get sweating and get flipping, baby, It don't take but a hot kitchen to draw our hair up. And now you're talking about hours competing at the Olympics. And listen, when you're competing at the Olympics, ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody thinking about, I wouldn't be thinking about my hair either.
And it's not like, oh, she can fly her hairstylist with her. I mean, the Olympic team is not going to, I'm sorry. Look, I know in the hood.
No, that's not.
Let me just say, look, I understand it. I ain't mad at nobody. I know in the hood, in the movies, you can do that. My girl, she gonna fly over here with me, and she can do my hair, and my dope man, I'm gonna act like he's my manager, like David.
No, there's no glam squad. You don't get a glam squad. They do each other's hair. Right. They learn how to put on makeup and all that stuff. They got the mothers back there
no
helping
stylists.
them.
Yeah, no Misa Hilton. She can't bring Misa over there. No, you don't have any stylist that works with Mary J. Blige and all that.
No, none of that. Oh yeah, puppies. No, none of that. So, can you imagine having to deal with that? The constant, you're black, your hair is nappy, you shouldn't be here.
Okay,
you're a girl.
And speaking of that, yeah, you're a girl, you're a black girl. Oh, but you still, you're still suppressing the fact that your team doctor, because when this went down with Gabby Douglas, the abuse that Larry Nassar had committed
from my state,
he was still the team doctor, so it hadn't gone public. So you still dealing with this dude where if he wasn't molesting you at that moment, he has. And your fear is, oh my God, I sure hope I don't have to go to see the doctor.
Exactly.
So you got.
When I'm a gymnast,
you got to suppress that trauma and fear, and still be the greatest, the best in the world, man.
The GOAT.
Man, y'all need
with all of this, and then you're talking about children.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not even talking about grown women. We're talking about babies having to navigate all of this. And then we flip out because they say, you know what? I can't do this. Because before I end up on the pills, on the bottle, or cutting myself, let me stop and get some help and let me revisit this situation. And I'll tell you, the only difference in the younger women now versus our black athletes that are more seasoned, let's say Serena, Venus, and I'm just using those two because there are plenty of others. Leslie, and on the basketball court, I could go on and on. But I'm using them because I'm going to talk about them in a second. But the only difference in that group is that Serena and Venus and them, they grew up in we got to postpone this nervous breakdown. So how many times do we know that Venus and Serena went home and had to pull the covers over their head, put the pillow over their head and scream, or take a Xanax or whatever so that they could cope with all of this? And you're talking about door kickers. Serena and Venus were kicking the doors open. They were years after Arthur Ashe, and so we were still knocking down doors.
And let me jump in here and tell you how they dealt with it. And Key, you know this. And shout out to Richard Williams, and shout out to Will Smith. He is.
Well, that's
Richard
where
Williams.
I was going.
Okay, well, you go ahead. I don't want to steal your punchline.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
talk about because they have the movie coming out.
Right, because I remember, like, the tennis world, they would criticize Richard Williams because they were really ready to go pro when they were like 13, 14, 12, 13, 14. And he was like, oh, no, they're not ready. So I don't give a damn what y'all saying. They're not ready, and they won't turn pro until they are ready. And I'll know when they're ready because I am protecting them from everything that they had to deal with when you all talked about them and called them ghetto because they had the beads in their head, and because they said that, well, they was cheating and they was fixing it the way it once, so Venus wouldn't play hard so Serena could win, and Serena wouldn't play hard so Venus could win. So all of that foolishness that they had to deal with. So, man, kick rocks with all that foolishness. And see, Richard Williams would cuss you out or whoop your behind. So he was like therapy in a different way. They didn't have to deal with the stress because Richard took all that stress on him, but he would stress you out because he would cuss your ass.
Well, listen, I am starting to share the trailer. The movie doesn't come out into November, but baby, the marketing and the workup for that movie is starting now.
Yeah.
Will Smith is I have to see the movie, but from what I have seen of the trailer, by the way, we're talking about the movie King Richard, which is about Serena and Venus Williams' father, Richard Williams. Will Smith is starring in the movie, and so far it looks phenomenal. I mean, and it's the love and the balance of, his dedication to getting all of his children, by the way, because all of the children are fabulous, and superstars in their own right, not just the two with the athletics, but the dedication that he had to them with them, and balance with the love and the way he protected them from the outside world as much as he could. So when I talk about Black Girl Magic and these athletes and the phenomenal things they have done, I'm in awe. And I'm so glad that the world is getting familiar with them. And I'm so glad that movies are being done so that you get a little more intimate with their life and see the trials that they have to go through and suffer through. Because it's one thing to just suffer through being an athlete, but now you got to suffer through being Black, being a woman, being, the racism, sexism. I mean, it's too much, but yet they still succeed.
And not just succeeded, you had one sister that's the GOAT, the greatest of all time, and another sister to where you can make an argument if it wasn't for her little sister.
That's right.
She might have been the greatest of all time. Keith,
Listen.
Let me jump in and read something to
you.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Because your number one fan, she says, hi. She said, hi, Keela, talk that talk, girl. And then she's just bragging on her son. But she posts in real time.
Hi, Mom.
She said, Jeannie, did you see what I wrote you all? So I know, because last night, she asked, she said, tell my girl I said hi. She said, you gonna be in with you tomorrow? I said, yeah, she will be. So she was, when you were talking about vertigo, because she, like I said, she's had it several times, unfortunately. And it's really scary. And it's not just scary it's scary for her, of course, but if you're around someone like that, it's scary for you. Because you can see
you don't know what to do.
Right, there's nothing you can do. But just there's some medicine that they take for it, some oral medication, but you just have to be still.
Yeah, you literally either have to, you take a pill, take the medication, you lay down, or you sit down. A lot of times I mentioned you have to cover your eyes, close your eyes, because you don't want to see nothing. Right. You don't want to
light bothers you, sound.
Yes, it is. So, kudos again to Simone. We brought up Gabby because their Lifetime is doing the movies. Just another mention of Naomi Osaka documentary on HBO Max about her life. And kudos for them for standing up for mental health. And we got Will Smith with the movie on Richard Williams. And finally, I want to say that on Sunday, the premiere in Detroit for Aretha Franklin's Respect. So I know she's not an athlete, but well, it depends. She could be athletic on those that mic and on that piano. But the movie premiere in Detroit is Sunday. I will be there. J Hud will be too. So if you see somebody in a J Hud picture going, I photobombed.
Yeah, girl.
Photobombed Jennifer Hudson. But they are doing some great media. They have, I think, a Respect Sunday that's coming out where they're encouraging pastors all over the country to do a sermon focused on more of Aretha's philanthropic work. If you don't know much about her life, she was very involved in civil rights.
Yes.
She was very close to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And other civil rights leaders. One of her husbands was the father of her youngest son, actually, was very much into the Black Power movement at that time. So they're encouraging pastors to do a sermon kind of in that vein. I think that would be August 8th. The movie premieres
13th.
nationwide on the 13th.
Right.
But yep, Geno, I'll be there, so I'll be able to
Go ahead
report
on with
to
your
you.
bad self, girl. I ain't mad at you because I know if you had the juice, if you had the veto, if you had the veto power, or if you had the green lighting power, you'd have been like, hey, y'all need to holler at my boy G. But I'm working.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm working on
Listen.
something on my other end. I've got some connections. Shout out to Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer, I'm so proud of you. Listen, we went to the same high school. So there's a family.
In Chicago?
Yes, there's a family connection because of her first cousin, Reverend Krista Alston. So her first cousin, Reverend Krista Alston, and family on my side, Greg. That's her husband. So, but anyway, I'm just proud of Jennifer. And speaking of tragedy and overcoming horrific tragedy, with her mom and nephew being murdered, with that crazy ass
boyfriend of her sister or something.
Man, don't even get me started on that. So, and then, it turned out, her marriage, there was some challenges. So we're just proud of it. South side of Chicago, stand up there in Detroit, Michigan, doing their thing. So Aretha used her celebrity and fame. So she used her platform and her money. See, a lot of people don't know that, Key. You know that, but a lot of you all don't know. Aretha Franklin bankrolled a lot in terms of events, supported Dr. King, because he was constantly, going to jail because he's fighting for civil rights, and these white supremacists was locking him up and everything else. So he wasn't making money. He wasn't out there getting no salary like LeBron. So,
and just quickly, thank you for bringing that up. People don't realize how awesome they talk about Black people don't stay together and they don't stick together and fight. Listen, Black people was making sure people had places to stay, opening up their homes to strangers during the civil rights movement, cooking, making sure they had food. Dr. King, like you said, he didn't have money for all that kind of travel, and he came with an entourage. So all of those people had to be fed, housed, their clothing had to be clean. Good, awesome, wonderful Black women, Black girl magic. They were in that kitchen cooking, helping wash those clothes, get those suits together for those men so that they could go out and represent us like that.
Organizing and strategizing.
Yeah, don't get me. Don't get me. Don't get me.
Please, man.
And like you said, Aretha Franklin and people like her, other
Harry Belafonte is another one. Yeah, Harry Belafonte is another one. Spent a lot.
It goes on and on and on.
Right. Because at that time, Harry Belafonte was as big as anybody in the entertainment world. So he was that dude.
Yes. And so that money had to come from somewhere. And it just wasn't the pulpit with passing around, the tray. There were people bankrolling to make sure that they got what they needed and they got where they needed and that they got out of jail. Do you know how many people had to be bailed out of jail?
Hundreds. I remember hearing stories, and I'm sure Aretha did it. I heard stories about Harry Belafonte where like Dr. King and other civil rights leaders, they would go marches in the South, and they would lock up maybe 100, 150, 200, 300 people. And Harry Belafonte, which had the money, I got him. I got y'all.
And this was constant. You had people like Nina Simone.
Yes.
I mean, listen, I could go on. That's a whole nother show.
Please, if you haven't seen Summer of Soul, see Summer of Soul. And let me just say this, Keith.
Excellent.
Let me just say this, and I'll let you close. Since we were talking about pastors and leaders in the Black church, pastors, please stop telling or stop implying that your congregation should not get vaccinated.
Oh.
Stop it. I don't care. You all can get mad at me, cuss me, whatever, but I'm just telling you, stop it. You are killing your congregation. That doesn't make any sense. Because for the most part, I mean, churches are seeing a decline in membership with you. Our millennials and Generation Z are looking at some of y'all like, man, y'all crazy. What? I can talk to God. I don't need a middleman. I ain't got I can get on my knees and pray myself. So what I'm saying, please. So your congregation consists primarily of elderly members, the most vulnerable. And you were telling them, well, God will fix it. Well, God fixed it. That's why we got a vaccine, damn it. Stop that. Listen, I'm sorry, Keith, but I just had to, I had to go there.
And those devoted mothers of the church, they're going to do what their pastor wants them to. And I want to be clear about something. It's not because those awesome mothers of our churches value and worship the pastor. It's because they understand that a group of people have got to stand up to support the pastor in order for the rest of the flock to follow.
Yes.
So you are putting your mothers of the church at risk because of selfish reasons for, whatever it is. It may be money for from the congregation.
Right. Somebody else will cut y'all a check to do that. Come on.
Come on. I'd rather you say Mother Johnson, Mother Moore, Mother Smith, you got $20 extra because
right.
we can't.
Right.
We can't
this virtual thing, I can't get y'all up on here on Sunday, so my tithes ain't really coming in like they used to.
Right. Or be honest with your congregation and say, listen, y'all, if everybody could just send in $20 this week as an offering, because we don't want you to come in the building because we want you to be safe, but we do want the building to be here when COVID is over. See, that's the kind of real talk that might get you some action.
Or Key, now I'm sorry. I know they really gonna hate me. Oh boy, they gonna call me. Oh, they gonna call me straight the devil now. I'm just saying, maybe some of y'all, maybe just
let me get my oil.
Yeah, get your oil. Maybe some of y'all could just sell one of the Bentleys, maybe one of the houses. Maybe
I'm sorry.
I understand. You got the mother of the church, but maybe one of the side pieces is like, look, I can't pay your rent or your mortgage this month. Tell the truth, shame the devil, Key. I'm done.
Goodbye, Mother John. I'm looking for the lead button. Black Girl Magic. I'm done. I'm getting ready to dip myself in some holy water and eat my chicken.
All right. Keela Carson, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to run you off, Key.
Listen, I'm covered. I got my oil over.
All right, listen, all jokes aside, on your way out, I got two things. Well, I'm going to congratulate you first, and I'll do something at the end of the show. But I want to congratulate you. You can go ahead and share your own good news, but because you are a media personality, but you're multi-talented, and you've had some exciting things happen, so congratulations. Yeah. Everybody, the media outlets want you, and these colleges and universities want you, and so congratulations. You want to share the good news.
Thank you. Thank you, Geno. Yes, so I am officially now faculty at Rochester University, which is also my alma mater for my baccalaureate. And I am eagerly waiting. I just got another email today that I will get a call next week regarding another position of faculty at one of the top technological colleges in the country. So I am like,
speaking
I
of
know
God,
in my text to you, I was like gobsmacked. And you said, what are you gobsmacked for? You're brilliant. But I mean, it just it just happened, and I can't believe it's been literally 5 days. I get this and I've interviewed, and now I'm just waiting. So I'm just thankful to God. I put in the work, like our other Black girls that we were talking about today. I put in the work, and now I am okay with receiving my fruit.
And Keela she is by nature really humble and modest. On camera and on stage and behind a microphone, I'm not. But I'm going to tell her that, as Muhammad Ali said, it ain't bragging when you can back it up. And obviously, you can back it up. You got the receipts. And what God has for you, no man or woman can deny you. So you are getting exactly everything that God wants you to have. So we're proud of you.
Thank you,
Congratulations. I know my mother's saying, oh, Key, congratulations. I'll see you next week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's my family right there, Keela Carson. We love her. She's beautiful, talented, beautiful inside and out. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, God. Most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. This is my weekend review show. Please like, share, and subscribe. Go back and binge watch all my episodes from this week. Go back and binge watch all my episodes from all the way back to when I started in October. My conversation with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, my conversation with Lettucey, my conversation with Senator Cory Booker, my conversation with my man Chris Jasper from the Isley Brothers. There's so many great conversations. My conversation with Dr. Arnold, telling us why we as Black Americans, who make up only 23% of Black Americans, have been fully vaccinated, when 50% of all Americans have been vaccinated. I love people. I love my people. I love my community, because the truth is, the world has not loved my community and my people and people that look like me. So if we don't love each other, we can't expect anybody else to love us, because the truth is, nobody else really has loved us. And unfortunately, that the world and forces, powers that be, have taught and brainwashed too many of us not to love each other and not to love ourselves. So I love you. That's why I want you. I'm standing on any mountaintop, soapbox, standing here in the studio. Please, please get vaccinated. The life you save could be your very own, or it could be the life of somebody you love, or the life of some innocent person or some innocent child that you don't even know about. Come on, y'all. We got to do better than this, man. 23% fully vaccinated Black Americans. We are killing ourselves. We don't have to worry about the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan, the new Ku Klux Klan and the Proud Boys and the Aryan Nation and the Oath Keepers and the 3%ers. We are doing their job for them. We are engaging in self-genocide. We are killing ourselves off by not getting fully vaccinated. All right? So you can say I'm preaching. It's not about preaching or punishing anybody. It's about protecting you and your family and all of us. All right? Like, share, and subscribe to the Geno Jones channel. If you'd like to advertise, if you'd like to sponsor, be a sponsor of the show, support a Black entrepreneur, small businessman, we appreciate it. We're living in an era now where a lot of corporations are engaging in what they call diversity and inclusion, looking to support more smaller Black businesses. Some people call it corporate white guilt money. Doesn't matter what you call it. I'll take it. I'd love to partner up with you. And if you're looking for the ultimate pitch man to help build your brand, your business, to help move your goods, products, and services, I'm the king of pitch men. Leave me a message right here on my YouTube channel, or email me, Geno Jones Show. That's how you spell Geno Jones, right behind me. Geno Jones Show @gmail. All right. I love each and every one of you. Mother, you know I love you more than life itself. Have a great weekend. Let me jump in here. I got to do this. I got to do this on. I don't. You know what? So our natural instincts is when someone transitions is to say on a sad note, but I'm going to say on a celebratory note. I want to celebrate the life of a very dear cousin who was really more like a second mother than a cousin. Rosalie, she lived with us. Her and Rosalie and my grandmother were first cousins, because I believe Rosalie's grandmother, and my grandmother's mother, they were sisters. And they moved, first my grandmother with my grandfather, and my mother moved from Memphis, but my grandmother's originally from Arkansas. So Rosalie, she was from Arkansas, came up to Chicago. She transitioned the other day. She lived a full life. As a matter of fact, she worked for a very famous person. As a matter of fact, if you saw the series that was on it, as a matter of fact, speaking of Aretha, when you get to watch the movie Aretha, there's a man named Jerry Wexler, who was one of the top producers in the music industry. He was probably the man. He was like the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis of Quincy Jones at that time. Jerry Wexler lived in suburban Chicago, and for years, even before Jerry Wexler became famous, my cousin Rosalie, she worked for him. She worked in his house. She did many things. She took care of the children and just did a lot of work, domestic work for Mr. Wexler. She was just a wonderful woman. So I just want to say, rest in peace, power, and paradise, cousin Rosalie. And I know right now you're up in heaven. And Mom, that's what I call my grandmother, Mom. Mom is happy. I know you all are singing and hugging and kissing and looking down upon us. And I hope, Mom, I hope you're proud of me. Cousin Rosalie, I hope you're proud of me. Rest in peace, power, and paradise. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Me and you Monday. I'm coming to you live Monday, 6:30 p.m. like I do. That's 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Monday through Friday, the Geno Jones Show. Please, like I said, man, I got some great shows. Go back and binge watch them all. Please like this episode. Share this episode. Leave your comments right here where if you're watching it in real time, or even if you're going back and you're binge watching it. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think about the show. Doesn't matter. Like, I know the haters are out there too. That's all good. I don't run from nothing to nobody, but I just want to appreciate all the support. I'm gonna do my Tony the Tiger. Great weekend, everybody. You and me Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And until then, once again, thank you so much for watching. And before this mosquito, a little fly, tries to fly in my mouth like it did last week, I just want to tell everybody, be blessed.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.